What's up, y'all? Welcome to another episode of this Ancient Ordinary podcast with your girl, your host, your partner, Rissa G. Back like we never left? Question mark? I know, it's been a while. I know. Life has been lifing, okay? But I'm back, and I have a pod for you guys. I have multiple pods for you guys. So I tell you I'm doing my best. I'm just a girl at the end of the day. So, but Happy New Year. Happy? Question mark? I don't know. Depends on who you're talking to. How are we doing? Are we taking care of ourselves? Are we hydrating? Are we eating good foods? Whatever good is. I don't know. A lot of different things. It's happy to be back with you guys again. I love recording pods. I don't think I'll ever stop. Unless God told me it was time to put it up, but I don't want to ever stop. I love you guys. I love having these conversations, and I hope you guys enjoyed the few pods I dropped in October and November. Excuse me. I know it's been a while, but like I said, life has been lifing. But I got a few good ones, I think, for you guys. For us to just continue the conversations that we've been having. And I didn't plan on talking about this, but I think it's just the natural place to go. Also, this is episode 26. So shout out to episode 26. But I think in terms of the pod, I've talked about a lot of things, especially earlier on. We had a variety of conversations, and I think this podcast still holds room and space for that. But I do think I am going to be talking about, how would you say, politics a bit more. I'm going to be talking about world events a bit more, because I think what's been happening in the world in a variety of ways and in different countries has been kind of near and dear to my heart, because I feel for what's going on internationally. America doesn't hold the only population for marginalized people. Marginalized people are all over, and I think that what's happening in different contexts by different countries is disheartening, and I think we should at least be talking about it, having conversations about it, even if you feel like you can't make a difference, even if you feel like, what does it matter, if I know or if I have these conversations. It all matters. I think the awareness matters. I think having the information matters. I think knowing your history matters a lot, and I think that that's what we're trying to do here. I'm not trying to activate anybody. I'm not trying to say, revolutionaries, let's go. No, we can all be activists and revolutionaries in our own way. We can all contribute different things to the movement. So I think this is one of my contributions as of right now, is having these conversations and just imploring us all to think a bit deeper and to just think about these things. Don't be naive and and move within the world from an individualistic standpoint, because that in and of itself is a tool of the oppressor, but that's a whole nother thing. So yeah, man, let's just hop right into it. Let me get this off my chest. It's been in the news. Hope I pronounced her name as it is. Renee Nicole Good was brutally murdered by ICE in Minnesota. Boy, it feels like we've done this a few times before, but we're back here again, and she was murdered by ICE, and I have a lot of thoughts. Bear with me. I'm going to do my best. She's not the first, and she's not the last to be murdered by ICE. I think we all need to, as a country, as citizens, take a moment and pause and really try to digest what is going on. This country is becoming a militant state, meaning that, it's being driven by military forces. Everything's being enforced by the military, right? And the president, the powers that be, are regulating and enforcing whatever it is they want to do through the military. And now let's think about this, okay? Remember, we had a conversation a few months ago about what is the law? What does the law matter? right? Who creates the law? Who enforces the law? And does any of it matter? And I think what we're kind of seeing is we're living in a lawless state, right? Because things are happening that are illegal, but they're happening at the hands of the government. So in terms of we have rights, we have protections, do we? I don't think we do. And now it's coming to a point where if you don't cooperate with these terrorists, which is what I'm going to call them, terrorists, you can die. If you do cooperate, you can still die, because people who are cooperating are ending up dead. And don't trust me? Research, Google. People in ICE detention centers are dying, right? Like, that's happening. That's ongoing. So whether I cooperate or not, death is still a potential outcome. And we have to think, what kind of world is that we're living in? I don't know. Like, we're living in a lawless state. We're at a point where laws, rights, those things do not matter. Whether you try to run, whether you cooperate, they do not matter. Death is the end result. And I also want to be clear, this is not an immigrant issue. I need y'all to look and open your eyes. Well, I'm a citizen. That means nothing. I don't even know if she was a citizen or not. I think she was, but it doesn't matter. It does not matter. I've been trying to tell y'all, these are experiments. They're going to start with immigrants first. But they are and have been and will continue to move to everybody. This kind of treatment by the government terrorists will move now to everyone. And soon we're all going to have to show our identification cards and show that we're citizens, right? What that reminds you of? People talking about that remind you of Nazi Germany. That don't remind you of Nazi Germany. It's nothing like Nazi Germany, actually. It really reminds you of your own history, your own American history. The slave catchers, who are now the police, check, don't trust me, Google. And the slave catchers, before they were slave catchers, they were Indian hunters. I'm only using the language of what it actually was called at the time. They were called Indian hunters. Okay? That's who the police is now. That is the history of the police. Okay? That's what this reminds you of. When you became free, you had to show your papers. That's American. Let's make America great again. That's when America was great. Right? When slavery was legal. Right? That's when it was great. They're making it great again. They're doing what they want to do. So I think knowing your history matters. Don't look outward. Right? Don't think, oh my goodness, America is now becoming something other countries have been. No. America is the worst of them. America. Jim Crow inspired Nazi Germany. Jim Crow was horrific and terrible. Imagine if they were really looking at what was going on during slavery. Anyway. So I know that your whole life you've been told that the big bad wolf is Russia and China and it's Korea and all. They're not the biggest wolves. I don't know what they are, but they're not the biggest fear you should have as an American. As an American, your biggest fear should be America. It should be this country. It should be the choices that they are making towards citizens. I'm not even touching international affairs yet. Oh, but there's so many rights. There's so many freedoms. We can do so many. Can you? Are there so many freedoms and privileges? Take a look around in 2026. Take a look around at what's going on. Just because you feel like it hasn't hit your home and it hasn't affected you yet doesn't mean it's not ongoing. All people in this country are being affected by the government terrorists who are targeting people, citizens, people who aren't citizens. Everyone is getting targeted. Okay. And then you have, don't let me forget to mention, then you have Minnesota's, I believe, governor saying that the state police is no longer to assist or help ICE. the government terrorists. So you have a state directly going against federal directives. What that remind you of? I'm just saying, go look at if you're American, go look at your history, boy. I'm telling you, what that remind you of? And I told y'all years ago on this very pod, a civil war is impending. On this pod, I told you, not because I'm prophetic, not because I have an inside scoop, but because I'm looking at the trends based off of history. I'm looking at what has happened before, and I'm seeing the same flags. I'm seeing the same things happen. And we're heading in that direction. We're heading into dystopia. That's not hyperbolic. That's not me being dramatic. That's not me being a conspiracy theorist. If you think everything is okay in this country, and if you think everything's going to be okay, well, we're going to bounce back, everything's going to be fine, it's not going to happen. So, I don't know. I have more thoughts, I think. I want to be mindful how I go about this because I have another topic I want to talk about on this pod. I'm gonna just say it here and then transition to the next topic. This isn't a Trump issue. I do not like Trump as a person. I despise everything about him. Everything. But this isn't a Trump issue. Okay? I'm just being honest. This is bigger than Trump. If you have a government that can allow what's ongoing, a government that makes the illegal legal, a government that is creating laws to silence us and stop us from speaking out, laws that go directly against the First Amendment, but then are you enforcing it? Are you not? Can some people speak about certain things and other people can't? What's going on? That's not a Trump issue. That's a United States issue. Trump is getting away with things he's allowed to do within the confines and the constructs of our current government. I keep telling y'all, look at what Kamala and Joe had going on before Trump. Is Cop City a Trump thing? Because again, we're focusing on all that Trump is doing now because it's affecting us now. But I've been telling you, look at what they had going on before Trump. They weren't good things. It's all about having these cops and military type forces to, I don't know, like just be their military, but like on U.S. soil, meaning like they want something greater than your local cops, something to enforce. I'm not sure whatever decrees, whatever new laws they're going to create, they want that to be enforced by their people. They're creating cop cities in major cities. I think the first one is being built in Atlanta. They want to build one in Queens, New York. They're building cop. They were doing that before Trump. These things were in place before Trump. Trump was just carrying on and continuing foolishness more explicitly and blatantly than previous presidents. That doesn't mean he's the first president to start doing foolishness. They've been doing foolishness. Okay? Do research for yourself. I told you guys on pods before, just because it's hitting home now and it's affecting certain people now doesn't mean things weren't ongoing before. You just didn't care. You just did not care. And that's fine. It's done now. The past is the past. But like moving forward, do not focus your grief and anguish with one individual. Individualizing a problem is a white supremacist tactic. They want you to make it think, it's just about this. It's about the one person. It's about the one person and their problem. It's a systematic issue. They're trying to individualize. The whole thing is a mess, not just the one person. If we get the right person in there, it's not going to change. It's not going to change. And I think we have to understand that. But I get it, right? Like your whole life and your whole world has been dictated and determined by specific language. Well, this is a democracy. Well, is it? But your whole life you've been told this is a democracy. Well, is it? Definitionally, is it a democracy? Your whole life you've been told you have these rights and freedoms. Well, do you? I don't know. I don't think we do. But it's hard because your whole life you've been conditioned to think that way. Even immigrants, and this is coming from an immigrant family. I'm coming from an immigrant family. Your whole life, you're told America is this land of the free, home of the brave, where you can come and you can get things you've never had access to before. Oh, what glorious things America has to offer, does it? Does it? Does it? Like, and these are questions I'm putting out there. You gotta, and if it does for you, well, God bless you. Truly. If you're happy, I'm happy you're happy. But for most of us, when we look and we examine the benefits of being in this country, there's, I don't know, the pros and the cons kind of giving 50-50, and the cons starting to surpass the pros. I don't know. My biggest fear is not international things happening against us. I don't know if anyone's going to invade the U.S., but I think that we have domestic terrorists that are about to tear apart the country. And I've been felt that way, and I think we see it unfolding. Once laws are no longer respected and appreciated, once laws are put on hold, it's wartime, bro. Look at history. When have laws been put on hold? When have laws kind of been modified or adjusted for specific time periods? It's giving that's what's going to happen. You know, so I don't know. I think the Civil War is closer than we could have imagined, and I just think we all should be prepared. We should all be aware, and continue to learn your history, learn the history of this country, and just reflect, and stop focusing on yourself. Focus on what they're doing to other people in other areas, because it's going to be you. It's inevitable. It's going to be you too. It's going to be me too. So, food for thought, I guess. Moving on. Hear me out. Speaking of what the U.S. has going on, and I know I'm a few weeks late, especially with this topic. But Nigeria and Venezuela, in my opinion, both attacked by the U.S. Nigeria we'll discuss more specifically later on, but we'll start off with Venezuela. When this happened, one of my favorite coworkers called me like, "Are you watching what's going on? Like, are you And mind you, he's never called me before, ever. He said, it was on Saturday, I had to call you. Like, is this real? And again, we need to be concerned. Enforcing U.S. laws on a president of another country, looking to detain him and imprison him on U.S. soil, it's a hell of a move, and for it to be done illegally, both domestically and internationally, it's not surprising. But you know what I found interesting in researching this topic and just getting the understanding of, well, one, what happened, and two, the legalities of it. Really, U.S. can get away with whatever they want, because the greatest ramification internationally that can be taken is the U.S. be sanctioned, and essentially, from my understanding, it's basically like a fine. And I don't even know if they're going to do that, because what they did was illegal. You can't just enter in the country and say, I feel like you're doing illegal stuff on U.S. territory. I feel like also you're, running a cartel, doing all your illegal stuff, and you shouldn't be doing that. So we're going to kidnap you. We're going to fire off some bombs, kill people, displace people, all of that, and bring you back to our country. You can't just do that, right? Like, you just can't do that, but apparently you can, right? Like, and this is something we're all struggling with, but we all need to kind of quickly reconcile. The things we think that cannot be done are being done. So therefore, that means that we're missing something, right? Like, oh man, there's no way they can do that. Oh, but they did it. Like, the laws, the protections, the boundaries, all of those things are seemingly meaningless. You did this without Congress's approval. That's supposed to be illegal, but nothing happened. And there's a plethora of things that are being done that are supposed to be impeachable offenses, but that doesn't matter. Again, this is the government in which we have a president moving and navigating and doing whatever he wants to do with no accountability. Growing up, I was told that there were 3 branches of government, all essentially to hold each other accountable, so that one therefore cannot be more powerful than the other. That's what I was taught, but clearly that was a lie. Again, goes back to what I said earlier. Like, we've been taught and conditioned certain things that we are seeing in lifetime be disproved. So now moving forward, how I'm going about viewing the world and viewing international affairs, especially from the side of the U.S., you can tell me the U.S. did X, Y, and Z, and I'll believe it. Because clearly there's no protections for people against the U.S. and their imperialistic measures. There's no protection. And I'm sad for Venezuelans, some of which who might think that this is a good thing. Oh yes, he was terrible. He committed fraud for the election. Like, get him out of here. He's a dictator. Heard you. I know some, but I don't know enough, and I haven't lived the experience to know what you're feeling. So heard you. But I'm just saying, don't think the alternative is going to be better. Because I'm looking at the opposing party leader. I forgot her name. I should have written it down. She done gave her Nobel Peace Prize award to Trump. Now, hear me out. 2 things can be true. Maduro, not great. Potentially terrible guy. Shouldn't be president, sure. Old girl, I forgot her name. But y'all need to be on guard. Because that's a red flag. It has to be a major red flag. That you're already kissing the U.S.'s butt. And I have a feeling they're probably going to push to put her in charge of Venezuela. So that all of this can be, like, glossed over. Like, all of this. To make it seem like, they were aiding us, they were helping us, and we need their support so that we can take the country back and make this a true democracy. Where have I seen that before? We've seen, like, history is important because there's nothing new under the sun. There's nothing new that has happened that we haven't kind of seen before. We kind of see this with Haiti. We kind of seen this with DR. We've seen this with other countries. The U.S. has essentially done a coup and put in position of power who they want to best benefit what they want and need from a country. So they're going to most likely put her in charge. They're going to have a democracy. Venezuelans for a little bit might be happy. But then shortly you're going to see, the U.S. is kind of taking advantage of us in a way that other countries necessarily weren't. This was all about the U.S. benefiting the U.S. This wasn't about what was in the best interest of Venezuela. But Venezuelans kind of have to figure that out. And by the time they figure that out, it might be too late. And I don't want to generalize. I'm sure there are some Venezuelans who are against everything that's happening, but you might not be the majority. And now the narrative is going to swoon like, the U.S. was just doing Venezuela a favor. Right. So I am less and less shocked by the things the U.S. chooses to do. I'm concerned, I think, for other countries because I think this is the beginning. I don't think this is going to stop anytime soon. I think the U.S. essentially is getting away with whatever they do. Their international laws and trees and those things are just words on paper. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think, especially for me, I'm not going to speak for you guys, but for me growing up, these treaties and laws, it made me feel like they meant something. It made me feel like if this is something that we're all agreeing to, there are negative consequences if these things are broken. Like, that's the idea essentially of a law. And to see time and time again the U.S. do whatever they want to do and get away with it. To see countries, look at what Israel's doing to Palestine, still ongoing, a genocide is ongoing. Look at what they're doing. Even look at what's going on in Sudan, right? Where the UAE is funding atrocities in Sudan and we all know, it's like common knowledge. That's not secret or even alleged, it's common knowledge, but nothing is being done to protect citizens. Like, all these atrocities are funded by governments, and they're not under the table, agreements. These are on its face reported by multiple sources, and nothing is being done. But man, you again, you go back to growing up thinking like, man, well, surely the world will be protected by these words, by these signed agreements, but really they mean nothing. If I choose to go against this, what you gonna do? Everyone's so afraid of starting a World War III. Mind you, World War III is gonna start no matter what. It's gonna start because no one stood up to these countries and said, hey, you can't do certain things. You simply cannot. Everyone just, it's all about money. As long as I get a cut, you get a cut, you do whatever you want. That's the truth of the matter. And that's not how it should be. But that's how it is. So it's just really interesting to see. We're living in a very, very, very historical time. Very, very much historical. And, I don't know what it's going to look like, but it's funny because a civil war, I believe, is going to happen in the U.S. But I also do think at some point, I'm going to have to believe, and maybe it's going to be over Greenland, someone at some point is going to have to stand up and say enough is enough. Someone, I'm assuming, I'm believing, and I think it's going to happen soon. Because what are we doing? What are we allowing to happen? What are we okay with? Like, it's unacceptable atrocities taking place time and time again, and some are just have been ongoing for decades. What are we doing? So I like those are my thoughts in terms of Venezuela. It's something to continue to watch and see how it unfolds. Let's see if I'm right, if they put the opposing party leader in charge, because as of right now the same party is in charge and they're like opposing the US, but I doubt that will last for long. So there's that. And then moving on to Nigeria, that was also a very interesting move, and the more I read and watch political actions, the more it's so interesting, right? Because the US really played a long game here. They really played a long game. Having Nicki Minaj, for whatever reason, come and present on Nigerians being, murdered and, sought out in, Nigerian Christians being sought out, and killed at a regular, rate. I thought that was interesting, and I should have thought ahead, but I never could have imagined like that was going to be like the starting point, or maybe the soft push for like, oh, we have to now go save said Nigerian Christians. Like, I have to admit, they got one over, because I did not think that one thing will lead to another, but apparently it did, right? And what the official report is that there are ISIS agents, and there's an ISIS present in that region, that the U.S. wants to get rid of. They did it in tandem with the Nigerian government, but obviously they're there for other reasons, right? Right? Like, because I did some research on this too, and I stumbled upon a report. Wish I had the guy's name, but a report by a Nigerian Christian, and he essentially said there is no. And obviously not just basing this on his report, but I like his narrative of it. There is no genocide taking place in Nigeria. There are internal wars between when I think North Nigeria and South Nigeria meet, Muslims and Christians meet at that intersection. And that's where a lot of the killings have been happening. But it's not like a discriminatory violence that is going on. It's essentially just a violent area. Like, everybody getting, it's just all over. There's violence taking place. It's not necessarily like predominantly Christians dying. It's both sides. Everyone's dying. So if anything, it's an internal war they're having at that border predominantly, but it's not a genocide, and it has nothing to really do with ISIS. ISIS sure has a small presence there, but it wasn't major enough for the US to have to bomb and try to have a presence. But again, if Nigeria has resources, Nigeria is an entry point to other countries that have resources. It's blatantly obvious what they're doing there, and someone brought this up to me, so I'm going to bring this up as well. It begs the question, is Nigeria on board for real? Are they on board for like looks? Like, would they rather be on board or look how Venezuela looked, like kind of happened out of nowhere, man, caught me by surprise? Like, how would that make me look? I don't know. I can't speak to that. That's really mainly speculation. But regardless, like what is the US is spending not only time, not only real bodies, but money, real US dollars on being greedy, when there are real Americans who could use their money, that which is, it's all tax dollars. And you know what? Multiple things I have to take multiple. I forgot, I had a tangent I wanted to do earlier, but it's too late. The time has passed. I don't fully understand U.S. government budget. I will be the first to tell you that, and I don't even know if I want to take time to read through the logistics and everything definitionally. I will just simply say it like this. Listen, it's all the U.S. tax dollars. However you want to delegate what goes where to who, it's all from the tax dollars, okay? So that means that you could, if you wanted to, take from the Department of Defense funding, which I believe, which is where all the Army military stuff comes, their funding comes from. You could take from that and you can allocate that somewhere else to do something better for the American people. I don't know what that would take. I don't know if there needs to be bills pushed, but my God, you're spending trillions and trillions of dollars funding Israel to kill innocent people for no good reason, right? Trillions. We are at trillions. And I reposted a post. I didn't even think I was going to go in this direction. I wish I had pulled it up. But the money they've used to fund genocide in Palestine could have been used 10 times over in the U.S. for a variety of things. Student loans, universal health care, all these different things. And people are telling me, oh, well, it's impossible for us to achieve these things and get these things. The country's too big. No, it's not. You're factually incorrect. It is not too big of a country. We have enough money. That's a fact. We are making choices and choosing to kill and to conquer and to be the greatest imperialistic country that's ever lived. Right? We're choosing to do that as opposed to taking care of our own country. We're funding all of these atrocities happening, and that's where all that money that come out, when you look on your check and you see federal taxes, all that money is going overseas. All of it. You need you need to be, if nothing else gets you riled up, your good tax dollars that you take out your check, every check, hundreds of dollars, for people maybe thousands of dollars, that needs to matter, bro. Because you're going over here and killing and bombing and bro, Flint still don't got clean water. Mississippi still don't got clean water. And now the AI generation foolishness is creating even more environmental issues in your country. What the France? I mean, oh, well, the country's doing big. No, it's you're actually really wrong. You're actually really wrong. They're sending countless dollars over, like, our money. So, like, that has to matter. Like, what are we doing? We're just doing things to do them, man. With no sense of reproach, with no sense of the citizens and Americans just holding you accountable. Because how do we now hold you accountable? Are we going to impeach you again? Who is coming to our defense and to our aid? I'm not saying to commit any crimes. I'm just saying we're going to continue to give you tax dollars for you to go and spend it blatantly on other things. Who is advocating for us and on our behalf? Ain't that supposed to be what the state politicians are for? Aren't they supposed to be talking on behalf of their population? Ain't that what it's supposed to be? Question mark? So I don't know. I'm tired. Like I'm not over it. I'm just frustrated, and I think discouraged by what I'm seeing. It's irritating to see. It's irritating to know, man, I could make a few, maybe $1,000 more, I think, or how much ever more per month if I kept my taxes. I'm just saying, because I don't see like the benefits of my taxes on American people. Because God forbid you get SNAP or something, y'all want to take that away. So where is the money gonna go? All of it's gonna go, because God forbid you poor, you need some assistance from the government. Y'all don't even really want to do that. So at what point does the money come back to us? My streets are messed up, and I don't have healthcare like that. So where's the money going to? The schools? It's not going to my schools in my area. So where is my money going towards? I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I don't know. But I think we ought to care more a bit about what's going on. I definitely think, from 2001 to once they invaded the Middle East to when it ended, I think that our parents and those who came before us, like that small generation, I think that they were content, a lot of them, to just Middle East war. Like it didn't feel close to you. It didn't feel like you had an impact on that. It didn't feel like there was anything you could do about that. I get that. In a time and an age where we have as much information, access to information as we've ever had, where we are seeing the atrocities from firsthand experience from those in those countries who are like on the receiving end of our money funded things and bombs. They're on the receiving end of those bombs. I think we ought to do a bit more, ought to care a bit more, just a little bit. It's really hard to say, man, I don't know, I can't pay attention to what's going on. It's all around you. It's hard to escape it. Really. Everywhere you look, there's reporting and videos and things coming out with how our money is being used. You ought to care a little bit. I'm just saying. So, anyway, it's been a fun pod. I'm looking forward to comments, questions, concern, anything. Please DM me. Please DM me or leave comments or things like that. It was a fun pod. I have a couple more for y'all I gotta do. Just take care of yourselves, man. Knowledge is always going to be power. Information is going to be power. Learning is important. Continue to try to learn things. Continue to read out loud, practice these skills. Telling you, they're all important, man. Anywho, doozies. Fun pod. See y'all the next time. Peace. What's up, y'all? Thank you so much for watching. Please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Do all of that. Help your girl out. Share it to your auntie. You know what I'm saying? Anywho, doozies. Peace.